fishing news is brought to you by Navionics, Okuma, Yozuri, Evinrude, Lama Glass, and the Star Island Yacht Club in Montauk, New York.
A little transitional period here at the Jersey Shore, the in-between days, if you will. And of course, everybody's just waiting for the fall run. I'm Jim Hutchinson with the New Jersey Delaware Bay edition of the Fisherman magazine. High in the mid-90s. The middle of this week, of course, we have a cold front pushing through Thursday, with temperatures only getting as high as 60 in the forecast for the Jersey Shore as of Saturday. Now, this could be exactly what we need to trigger that coastal bite, and especially get some of that bait migrating down along the beaches. But of course, what we hear right now, plenty of cocktail blues from the Raritan down to the Delaware, on along the beaches of Long Beach Island as well, where I'm here at Jingles in Beach Haven. Tackle shops have been moving a lot of fresh mullet and mullet rigs like these that you'll find over at the Hook House in Toms River. Now, you might also want to try some of those Hopkins as well, or maybe some wide-bodied metals that are wobbling a little bit. But if you're chucking soft plastics, as I was earlier this week, I will tell you to watch your tail. As we await the arrival of a few more bass in the mix with all these peanuts and all this mullet, you'll be contending with the choppers from time to time. But don't throw away those heads. When you lose that plastic on those molded plastics, don't throw away that hook and head. They come in handy from time to time. Live lining baits like peanut bunker and mullet. It sometimes adds a little bit of weight, especially if you're on the boat doing a little bit of jigging, but sometimes out front as well. Now, there are some stripers around. They're on the Raritan Bay just about every day, the way they have been all summer long. As a matter of fact, some of the off-duty guys out of Staten Island, they told me they're still chasing a few stripers along the Raritan. Captain Akira of True World, he's getting some good eating size stripers as well. That continues. This one about 16 pounds. Good fish for the table. And again, guys working the back bays, the rivers, and the creeks, especially behind Long Beach Island, down into Absecon, and further into Cape May County are doing well. Alex Sacchetti here, he had a good one in overcast conditions earlier this week. Checked in with Dave at Absecon Bay Sports Center. Now, here on LBI this week, the 65th annual LBI Surf Fishing Classic will kick off Saturday at 5 a.m. And that runs 9 weeks all the way through December 9th. You can visit Surf City Bait and Tackle, Fisherman's headquarters, or stop in here, Jingles in Beach Haven, to get your registration. You do it by Friday. You get a hat and a t-shirt. That's October 4th, that cutoff, to get the hat and the t-shirt, plus the decal and a slice of Panzone's pizza as well. Now, there's a surf fishing seminar on Saturday to kick off this 9-week tournament. That's going to be hosted by the folks at Team Mullet. Some of the tackle shops are going to be there. That's from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. at the Ship Bottom Volunteer Fire Company. That's Saturday morning, 10 a.m. That's at 2006 Central Avenue in Ship Bottom. Personally itching to get back into that striper run. I couldn't wait any longer. Headed out on Friday. Went up to the Poconos, hit Beltsville Reservoir with George, the Pocono Outdoors guy, and Tony Maja Jr. The three of us wanted to put down some of those saltwater mojos, see if we couldn't get some freshwater, landlocked, true strain stripers to bite. I'll tell you, it's beautiful up there. Trolling, throwing topwaters at stripers that were piling on the alewives on the surface. I can understand why George loves it up there in the Poconos. Ain't that right, George?
Well, hey, thanks, Jim. It was a great day out here in the Pocos with good friends Tony Maja Jr. and yourself. It was something different. We know the stripers weren't quite hitting out on the saltwater yet, so I brought these guys out here to the Poconos, and we started trolling the lake for some freshwater striper. Now, it was a slow start to the morning, but we had the secret weapon on board. Tony Maja brought those special 3-ounce little mojo rigs, and it was just doing a number on these freshwater stripers. We were probably one of the few or the only boats to land some fish that day. Plus, we also got some on the topwater. Now, Jim will have a whole lot more on this story, including some tips, tactics, and tackle we used, so hopefully you can get on some of these freshwater stripers as well. Now, guys, last week I also talked to you about the Flathead catfish bite on the Delaware River. Well, here's two great anglers, Ken Beam and Dave All, out on a crazy night, landing a couple of really great flatheads. As a matter of fact, Ken Beam said this is his new personal best flathead. Congratulations, Ken. Guys, the fishing's heating up. Come on out and get them lines wet. From Pennsylvania, I'm George, your Pocono Outdoors guy.
Now, as George mentioned, I am going to put together a video segment, a little how-to on putting those mojos down for those stripers up in the Poconos. We'll have an article in a future edition of the Fisherman magazine as well. I hope you subscribe. Definitely keep your eye out for that. Now, all eyes are on black sea bass coming up. Most boats right now, they're mixing it up with a variety of mixed fish. The Duchess out of Fortescue this past weekend had a mixed bag of blues, croakers, kings, and weakfish. Meanwhile, a lot of porgies up north. Point Pleasant, for example, the Dauntless headed out this week, slaying the scup, and they'll do it for another weekend ahead. The tog as well, you've got 1 to tog limit right now. And if you find those double-digit monsters, that's a possibility. That's what Chris Molinaro did this week aboard the Jamaica 2. But again, October 8th is when black sea bass reopens here in New Jersey. The biscuit bell will be ringing. Raritan Bayshore, Shark River, Manasquan, Barnegat, Absecon, out of here in Beach Haven, Great Egg, Cape May. It's all hands on deck. Again, New Jersey, October 8th is when we get back into the black sea bass. 12.5 inches, 10 fish through October 31st. Then it's 13 inches and 15 fish as of November 1st. That goes on through the end of the year. Of course, in Delaware, it's all the same. It's always the same. It's never changing. 15 fish, 12.5 inches, all the way through the end of the year. Now, the other hot option right now in Jersey and Delaware, and if you're heading out of New York as well, is the offshore bite. Yellowfin, swordfish, and nice mahi as well. In fact, it's a nice mahi by Steve Palmer here at Jingles. Got into a mix of fish last week. Also included some swordfish. Regrettably, it's looking a little sketchy. As of midweek, looking at this weekend ahead, it's that front that's coming through. Thursday, 5 to 8. Friday, 6 to 11. Saturday, 5 to 9. And Sunday, 3 to 6. That's the forecast for the Hudson down to the Baltimore. But this is a great time of year to get out to the edge when the weather allows, by charter or party boat or good friends looking for a sixth. But again, weather is always key this time of year. Best to be flexible. Give yourself a couple of days so you can squeeze through that possible window of opportunity. Again, that window is changing as we head into the weekend ahead. Hopefully we'll get the bait moving, though. It also might be worth a time to head up to Albiali. You know what I'm talking about. The false albacore have not really shown up in the surf just yet. Could be the weekend ahead. Match the hatch. If you're packing a plug bag for the beach, think metals for speedsters, mullet imitations for stripers. Now, hey, speaking of the surf, if you cast between Point Pleasant and Island Beach State Park, Nick Honicheski has started a beach brawl, October 11th and 12th. You can get all the details at the shops that they've got all that information. Fisherman Supply, Grumpy's, Betty and Nick's, and Charlie's Bait and Tackle. You can also go see Nick's site at saltwaterunderground.com for all the details. Catch them up this weekend. Keep an eye on the weather, and hopefully this front does us pretty well. But we'll check in again next week to find out, right here at thefisherman.com.
Win the incredible Steigercraft Evinrude Lowrance Grand Prize Boat Package and more in the Fisherman's 2019 Dream Boat Fishing Challenge. Get the details now at thefisherman.com.